Day 1. Training Note. Session 1. Slide 1. Good morning, everyone. Before we talk about tools, formulas, or methods, let me start with a simple question. Why do most improvement projects fail after implementation? Not during analysis, not during planning, but after implementation. In most organizations, improvement begins with enthusiasm, but fails because it is not structured, not measured, and not sustained. This training is not about isolated tools. It is about understanding a structured improvement system. DMAC is not theory. It is a disciplined, data-driven roadmap used globally to improve operational and business performance. Over the next sessions, we will work like a real project team, not like a classroom. By the end of this program, the expectation is not only knowledge, but the ability to define, structure, and measure real improvement opportunities in your own operations. Session 1. Slide 2. Let us align on where we are going. This training is structured exactly like a real DMAC project. Each session builds on the previous one. You cannot jump from problem to solution. You cannot improve what you cannot define. And you cannot sustain what you cannot measure. So do not see this as separate sessions, but as a single improvement journey. Today we begin with improvement logic, customer expectations, and project structure. If we misunderstand one step, the entire improvement logic collapses. I would like you to see this roadmap not as a schedule, but as a project journey we are traveling together. Session 1. Slide 3. This morning is about building the foundation. We will move from overview to customer understanding to project creation. This is not a lecture morning. This is a working morning. Every session today will produce an output that contributes to a project definition. By the end of the morning, you should not only understand DMAC, but begin thinking like a project team. You will analyze, question, and build. Engagement matters because this training only works if it is interactive. Think of today as the first working day of a real improvement mission. Session 1. Slide 4. The afternoon is where things become more concrete. Morning builds understanding, afternoon builds the project. We will move into civic thinking, responsibility clarity, root cause prioritization, and data preparation. Most improvement projects fail not in analysis, but in weak project definition and unclear measurement planning. Before we talk about measurement tomorrow, we must clearly define what problem we are solving, why it matters, and what success will look like. Session 1. Slide 5. Session 1 is not just an introduction. It establishes how we will think during this entire program. We align expectations, understand DMAC logic, and begin building a measurement mindset. Everything connects: expectations, improvement logic, and measurement baseline. If expectations are not aligned, resistance appears later. If measurement thinking is missing, improvement becomes subjective. So this session sets the psychology and structure of the entire training. Session 1. Slide 6. For this training to be effective, we need a strong learning environment. Adult learning works through discussion and experience. So we need open communication, active participation, and respect for time and perspectives. This is not passive listening. Your experience is part of the learning content. Challenge ideas, not people. Different perspectives create better understanding. We are learning not only from the trainer, but from each other. Session 1. Slide 7. Let us clarify something important. Who owns learning here, trainer or participants? Learning in this room is co-created. My role is to guide and challenge thinking. Your role is to question, share, and engage. The more real examples you bring, the more valuable this training becomes. If you stay passive, retention drops. If you engage, transfer increases. Today we are not just attending training. We are working together as an improvement team. Session 1. Slide 8. When people hear Six Sigma, they often think of statistics. But Six Sigma is not just statistics. It is a structured improvement system combining business understanding, customer focus, structured methodology, and data-driven decision-making. It connects strategy to execution and data to decisions. If we see Six Sigma only as tools, transformation fails. If we see it as a system, it becomes powerful. Session 1. Slide 9. Six Sigma has three meanings: a management strategy, a structured improvement system, and a statistical performance level. Many organizations see only one layer. But real transformation happens when all three align: strategy, project system, and measurement. If reduced to only tools or only projects, impact remains limited. Understanding these layers is critical for sustainable improvement. Session 1. Slide 10. Let us make Sigma level concrete. Many organizations think 99% quality is good. But at large-scale operations, even 1% error creates thousands of failures. In transport systems, this could mean delays, service failures, or safety risks. Sigma level represents operational risk and reliability. Higher Sigma means lower risk and more predictable performance. Improvement must therefore be structured and measurable. Session 1. Slide 11. There is a direct relationship between quality level and cost. As Sigma level increases, defects decrease and cost of poor quality drops. Many believe improving quality increases cost, but poor quality creates hidden cost, rework, delays, complaints, and lost capacity. High-performing organizations spend less correcting mistakes and more creating value. Quality improvement is therefore also a financial strategy. Session 1. Slide 12. Successful improvement requires three elements working together: management support, structured methodology, and operational experience. If leadership support is missing, projects lose priority. If methodology is missing, improvement becomes random. If operational knowledge is missing, solutions become unrealistic. Six Sigma integrates all three. Improvement must be business-driven, data-driven, and leadership-supported. Session 1. Slide 13. Six Sigma uses many analytical tools, but the goal is not to use all tools. The goal is to use the right tool for the right question. Histogram shows distribution. Pareto shows impact. Regression shows drivers. Control chart shows stability. Tools support decisions, but do not create improvement alone. Always start with the business question, then select the tool. Session 1. Slide 14. Not all Six Sigma tools are statistical. Many are logical and visual: process maps, fishbone diagrams, value stream maps, and FMEA. These tools help us understand systems and risks. If a process is not visualized, it is rarely understood correctly. If causes are not structured, solutions remain superficial. Visual tools drive thinking and decision-making. Session 1. Slide 15. DMAC is the backbone of Six Sigma. Define, measure, analyze, improve, control. Each phase answers a business question. Many teams jump directly to improve, but without define and measure, improvements fail. DMAC creates discipline: understand before acting, measure before deciding, and control before moving on. Session 1. Slide 16. Six Sigma began as a statistical concept and evolved into a global management methodology. Companies like Motorola and GE adopted it because it delivered measurable results. It is not a temporary trend, but a proven system for improving operational and financial performance. Session 1. Slide 17. Most organizations see only visible cost of poor quality: scrap, rework, and complaints. But hidden cost is much larger: inefficiencies, waiting, lost customers, and reputation damage. Like an iceberg, most cost lies below the surface. Eliminating defects improves profitability, not just quality. Session 1. Slide 18. Let us connect DMAC to public transport systems. Transport operations involve many interacting variables: demand, capacity, maintenance, and human factors. DMAC provides structure, define problem, measure frequency, analyze causes, improve performance, and control sustainability. Never improve before measuring correctly. Weak measurement leads to wrong improvement. Session 1. Slide 19. Now we move into the first individual exercise. Review the SmartTrans scenario carefully. Your task is not to solve the problem yet, but to observe. Look for variation, delays, dissatisfaction, and inefficiencies. Do not fill any forms yet. This phase is observation and understanding only. After this, we will move into group work. Session 1. Slide 20. Now form small teams. Using the scenario, begin structuring the problem. Define what the real issue might be and identify possible seat queues and business impact. Do not jump to solutions. Define phase is about clarity, not perfection. Each group should produce a draft problem definition. Session 1. Slide 21. Public transport systems must balance cost, service quality, and customer satisfaction. Most listed problems are symptoms. Six Sigma requires translating symptoms into measurable variables such as on-time performance, cost per kilometer, and satisfaction score. If we cannot measure it, we cannot improve it. Improvement must focus on controllable processes. Session 1. Slide 22. Let us take a short break. When we return, we will continue building the project definition logic and move deeper into customer expectations and measurement thinking. Let's have a break 15 minutes. Session 2. Slide 23. We now move into one of the most critical concepts of Six Sigma, the voice of the customer. Every improvement project must start with understanding what truly matters to the customer. Many organizations improve processes internally but fail to connect those improvements to customer expectations. When improvement is not linked to customer value, it creates internal efficiency but not external impact. Voice of the customer helps us translate expectations into measurable requirements. Without this translation, improvement efforts often focus on what is easy to measure rather than what is important to deliver. Session 2. Slide 24. Customers express their expectations in many ways: complaints, feedback, service requests, and behavioral patterns. But customers rarely speak in statistical terms. They do not say reduce variation or increase sigma level. They say be on time, be reliable, be safe. Our responsibility is to translate these expectations into measurable CTQs. This translation is where many projects fail. If customer needs remain abstract, improvement becomes guesswork. Session 2. Slide 25. Voice of the customer is not only external. Internal customers also exist within every organization. Maintenance supports operations. Operations support passengers. Finance supports planning. If internal customer expectations are not met, external performance suffers. Therefore, VC must be captured both externally and internally. A weak internal process always creates a weak external experience. Session 2. Slide 26. Once we gather customer input, we must structure it. Raw feedback is useful but not sufficient. We must categorize, prioritize, and quantify expectations. Some expectations are critical, others are secondary. Some affect safety, others affect convenience. Not all customer requirements have equal weight. CTQ thinking begins by identifying which expectations directly affect satisfaction and performance. Session 2. Slide 27. CTQ stands for critical to quality. These are measurable characteristics that directly influence customer satisfaction. A CTQ must be specific and measurable. Fast service is not a CTQ. Average waiting time under 5 minutes is a CTQ. The clearer the CTQ, the clearer the measurement and improvement path. Vague CTQs create vague improvements. Precise CTQs create measurable results. Session 2. Slide 28. To build strong CTQs, we often use CTQ trees. A CTQ tree breaks down general expectations into measurable elements. For example, reliable transport can be broken into punctuality, consistency, and safety. Each branch becomes measurable. This structured breakdown ensures we do not miss critical expectations and helps align improvement with customer value. Session 2. Slide 29. Let us apply VC thinking to the smart trans scenario. Imagine you are a passenger. What matters most? Travel time, reliability, comfort, safety, cost. Now imagine your management. What matters most? Cost efficiency, capacity, maintenance, satisfaction. Improvement projects must align both perspectives. If they conflict, decisions become difficult. Session 2. Slide 30. Many organizations collect customer data but do not use it effectively. Surveys are conducted but not translated into operational metrics. Complaints are recorded but not analyzed for patterns. Data exists but insight is missing. VC is valuable only when it leads to measurable action. Data without action is only documentation. Session 2. Slide 31. VC analysis must lead to prioritization. We cannot improve everything simultaneously. We must identify high-impact CTQs. Which factors influence satisfaction most strongly? Which create financial impact? Which affect safety? Prioritization ensures resources are used effectively and improvement creates visible value. Session 2. Slide 32. In this exercise, each team will identify key customer expectations from the scenario and translate them into CTQs. Do not focus on solutions yet. Focus on defining measurable expectations. Each CTQ must have a metric, a unit, and a potential target. Without measurable definition, CTQ remains theoretical. Session 2. Slide 33. Now work in your teams. Review the scenario and list all possible customer expectations. Then prioritize and convert them into measurable CTQs. Think like analysts, not like observers. Your output should be a structured CTQ list with clear definitions. After this exercise, we will compare and refine together. Session 2. Slide 34. Let us review your outputs. Notice how different teams identified similar expectations, but expressed them differently. This is normal. The goal is not perfection, but clarity. We refine CTQs through discussion. The stronger the CTQ definition, the easier the measurement phase becomes. Weak CTQs create confusion later in the project. Session 2. Slide 35. As we close this session, remember, improvement begins with understanding customer value. Without VC and CTQ clarity, measurement and analysis lose direction. Every successful Six Sigma project starts with clear definition of what matters most to the customer. This clarity guides all future decisions. Let's have a break 15 minutes. Session 3. Slide 36. We are now transitioning from general VC and CTQ thinking into structured project creation. From this point forward, we are not only identifying problems, we are selecting accountable improvement commitments. A real Six Sigma project must be measurable, financially meaningful, and operationally sustainable. This session will move us from observation into structured project logic. Treat this as the moment where improvement becomes a business commitment, not just an idea. Session 3. Slide 37. Six Sigma projects must create measurable financial impact. Technical success alone is not enough. Every project must connect to return on investment, cost reduction, or financial performance improvement. ROI is calculated as net financial benefit divided by project investment. Cost of poor quality includes scrap, rework, delays, warranty, and lost capacity. If improvement cannot be validated financially, it will not sustain executive support. Always compare baseline versus after improvement performance and validate results with finance. Session 3. Slide 38. Performance can only be improved if it is measurable. We measure using two main data types, discrete data and continuous data. Discrete data counts events such as defects, failures, or delays. Continuous data measures variations such as time, temperature, or cost. Both data types are valuable, but we must clearly understand which one we use. Before calculating performance, we must ask, how well are we meeting customer performance standards? Without customer expectations and specification limits, performance measurement has no meaning. Measurement must always connect to SEAT key requirements. Session 3. Slide 39. Let us clarify key defect terminology. A defect is any failure to meet a requirement. A unit is the item being evaluated. An opportunity is any measurable point where a defect can occur. For example, one transport trip is a unit, a late arrival is a defect, and each station timing may be an opportunity. Understanding this structure is essential for calculating performance. If defect definitions are unclear, all metrics become misleading. Always define defects explicitly and ensure opportunity definitions remain consistent across measurement. Session 3. Slide 40. We must clearly distinguish between defect, defective unit, and opportunity. A unit with multiple defects may still count as one defective unit. Opportunity must be measurable and consistent. If opportunity definition changes, DPMO and sigma calculations become meaningless. Measurement discipline is critical. Before calculating performance, always confirm the number of units, opportunities per unit, and total defects. This ensures that performance metrics reflect reality rather than measurement design errors. Session 3. Slide 41. Now we move to Core 6 Sigma metrics. Defects per unit, defects per opportunity, and defects per million opportunities allow us to quantify process performance. DPO measures defect density. DPO normalizes by opportunity. DPMO converts performance into a universal scale for comparison across processes and industries. Never jump directly to DPMO. Always verify total opportunities first and ensure definitions are consistent. Without reliable measurement structure, all sigma calculations become unreliable. Session 3. Slide 42. Defect definitions must be measurable and linked to customer tolerance. If definitions are vague, measurement becomes subjective and unreliable. For example, one incorrect field on an invoice is a defect. A bunch of grapes may contain multiple defects, but becomes defective only after a threshold is exceeded. Always define numeric tolerance and ensure that two inspectors would classify the same unit consistently. Without operational definition clarity, sigma-level calculations lose meaning. Session 3. Slide 43. Most process performance follows a normal distribution pattern. Sigma represents variation. In a normal distribution, one sigma includes about 68% of outcomes. If specification limits are at 1 sigma, defect rates can exceed 30%. Many organizations operate around 3 sigma, while world-class processes approach 6 sigma. The difference in real-life reliability is enormous. Improvement means reducing variation, not only correcting individual errors. Understanding variation is fundamental to improving performance. Session 3. Slide 44. Z-score converts process performance into probability of defects. It measures the distance between process mean and specification limits in standard deviations. Higher Z means lower defect probability. But Z must always be translated into business meaning. Management does not act on sigma numbers alone. They act on risk and defect probability. Always confirm whether you are using one-sided or two-sided specifications and whether data represents short-term or long-term performance. Session 3. Slide 45. Processes naturally drift over time. Even stable processes experience mean shifts due to wear, environment, or human factors. Short-term performance often looks better than long-term reality. That is why Six Sigma considers both short-term and long-term performance. A capable but unstable process will eventually create defects. Stability must always be monitored. Improvement is not only about capability, but also about maintaining stability over time. Session 3. Slide 46. Z-score connects specification limits, process mean, and variation into one measurable performance indicator. It represents distance divided by spread. If variation increases or mean moves towards specification limits, Z decreases and risk increases. A high average alone does not guarantee high sigma. Variation determines risk. Always evaluate both mean position and spread when interpreting performance. Session 3. Slide 47. Six Sigma recognizes that processes shift over time. Historically, an average 1.5 sigma shift has been observed between short-term and long-term performance. This means short-term sigma often overestimates long-term capability. However, this shift should not be applied blindly. Each organization must validate real process drift. Reporting only short-term sigma can create false confidence and unrealistic improvement expectations. Session 3. Slide 48. Subgroup analysis helps distinguish between short-term and long-term variation. Short-term variation exists within subgroups. Long-term variation includes shifts between subgroups over time. If each subgroup appears stable but subgroup averages differ, overall variation increases. Ignoring subgroup structure leads to underestimating long-term variation and overstating capability. Proper sampling structure is essential for accurate sigma calculation. Session 3. Slide 49. Z-score and defect probability have a nonlinear relationship. Increasing sigma from 1 to 2 dramatically reduces defects. Each additional sigma improvement produces exponential reduction in defect probability. Improvement impact is therefore not linear but exponential. Understanding this relationship helps justify improvement investments and quantify financial benefit of variation reduction. Session 3. Slide 50. Short-term sigma reflects controlled conditions. Long-term sigma reflects real operating conditions, including drift and variation over time. Performance always deteriorates without controlled discipline. Many organizations report short-term sigma but experience long-term performance decline. Always distinguish between these two metrics when evaluating improvement results and financial exposure. Session 3. Slide 51. Six Sigma projects must be managed as structured business investments. Financial objectives, cost structure, measurement logic, and budgeting must be defined before project launch. Improvement must translate into economic impact such as cost reduction, revenue improvement, or productivity gain. Without financial clarity, projects lose executive support. Six Sigma is not only a technical methodology, but also a financial improvement system. Session 3. Slide 52. Technology and control must work together for sustainable improvement. Technology reflects best potential performance. Control reflects stability over time. A process may have strong capability but weak control, leading to performance decline. Or strong control but weak technology, limiting improvement potential. Sustainable excellence requires both strong capability and strong control discipline. Improvement without control is temporary. Session 3. Slide 53. Now we will briefly review project alignment. As a team, discuss whether your project is aligned with business goals, whether performance is measurable, whether reliable data exists, and whether risks are clear. This short reflection ensures that improvement efforts are structured and financially meaningful before moving forward. Take a few minutes to validate project logic as a team. Session 3. Slide 54. Excellent work this morning. We have established customer understanding, project logic, measurement awareness, and performance metrics foundation. After the break, we will move deeper into structured project definition and root cause prioritization. Use the break to mentally reset and reflect on key insights from this session. Launch time 1 hour. Session 4. Slide 56. So far, we have built customer expectations, project logic, and measurement fundamentals. Now we enter the core of the define phase. This is where real project structure begins. If define is weak, measure and analyze will fail. Most improvement projects collapse because the problem is not clearly defined or the process is not clearly understood. In this slide, we set one clear rule. Before we analyze data, we must align scope, stakeholders, timeline, and boundaries. Poor definition creates wasted effort and false optimization. Our goal today is clarity, clarity of process, clarity of problem, clarity of scope. Session 4. Slide 57. Every serious project requires planning, not just intention. The Gantt view makes work visible, what will be done, when, by whom, and how long it will take. Six Sigma projects typically span several months, so scheduled discipline protects momentum and accountability. Underplanning creates reactive firefighting, and compressing analyze or forgetting control guarantees regression. A good plan lets us compare plan versus actual progress and manage risks before they become delays. Session 4. Slide 58. Session 4. Slide 59. SIPC is a macro-level representation used to prevent scope drift and to align stakeholders. The most important test is this. Every output must have a clearly defined customer. If you cannot name the customer, the output is likely waste. Inputs must also be measurable. Vague inputs create vague analysis later. Teams often make the mistake of writing microsteps into the process column or confusing output with outcome. Keep SIPC at the right altitude, boundaries and ownership first, detail later. Session 4. Slide 60. Let's lock the logic with a real SIPC example. A supplier provides inputs. Inputs feed process steps generate outputs, and outputs create customer impact. We validate the causal flow. Each input must link to a process step, and each output must link to customer pain or value. One common mistake is mixing causes and effects in the same box, for example, writing delay as an input instead of an output. If delay appears inside the process box, the team may already be assuming the root cause. SIPC prevents that by forcing structure before judgment. Session 4. Slide 61. Once SIPC boundaries are clear, we begin root cause mapping logic. Here we separate two concepts, variation and error. Variation is fluctuation in the system. Error is failure to follow a standard. Traffic is variation. A driver forgetting a key step is error. Both hurt performance, but they require different solutions. Mapping forces us to find the exact point where the ideal flow breaks and to ask whether it is repeatable, standard-defined, and system-driven. If we label everything as human error, we are not mapping deeply enough. Session 4. Slide 62. Most organizations have a gap between what they think happens and what actually happens. That perception bias creates wrong improvement. So we often need multiple versions of a process map before analysis, the perceived flow, the real flow, and only then the desired flow. We compare step counts, loops, rework, weighting, and decision points. If we jump directly to an ideal future state without validating the real flow, we improve fiction. Lean discipline requires we see the process as it truly operates, not as it is described. Session 4. Slide 63. Now we expose the hidden factory, unmeasured rework, unofficial corrections, workarounds, and recovery steps that consume capacity silently. Many teams treat rework as normal work, and that hides the biggest improvement opportunities. In SIPC and mapping, we look for loops, duplicate approvals, manual fixes, repeated inspections, and low-frequency exceptions. What is not mapped cannot be improved. If we remove hidden work, we often free capacity faster than any optimization. Session 4. Slide 64. We now apply define tools through structured forms, forms 9 to 10. This is where the project becomes operationally measurable. We define KPIs with unit, formula, and frequency, confirm a measurable baseline, link KPIs to seat queues, and align financial impact with operational indicators. The biggest failure mode here is jumping into solution ideas and writing vague KPIs without measurable baselines. If a KPI is not measurable, the project cannot be controlled and control phase will fail. Session 4. Slide 65. We take a short break to reduce cognitive load and protect learning effectiveness. Use this time for a real mental reset, water, short walk, and a quick review of your notes. When we return, we will restart sharply and summarize the previous topic in 1 minute to rebuild focus. Do not extend technical discussions into the break. Fatigue reduces analytical quality. Let's have a break 15 minutes. Session 5. Slide 66. We now move from listing causes to prioritizing them. Brainstorming gives us volume, but priority requires discipline. In root cause work, we must separate the critical few from the useful many. That means we do not choose causes based on who speaks the loudest or what sounds most convincing. We choose based on structured criteria, impact on the CTQ, effort to address it, and evidence strength. Tools like Pareto thinking, impact, effort logic, multi-voting, or an FMA-style RPN help us convert ideas into a ranked focus list. The purpose is simple: concentrate limited resources on the causes most likely to move performance quickly and sustainably. But one rule is non-negotiable: do not prioritize without evidence. If we cannot connect a cause to observable data or a measurable signal, it remains a hypothesis, not a priority. Session 5. Slide 67. Before we narrow anything, we must generate broadly. This is the divergent phase: quantity first, evaluation later. Brainstorming is not casual conversation. It is structured idea generation designed to surface collective knowledge. We use the 6M lens: man, machine, method, material, measurement, Mother Nature/environment, to push thinking beyond the obvious. During generation, we do not judge ideas, we do not debate feasibility, and we do not jump to solutions. Our only job is to capture potential causes in volume and variety. Later, we will categorize and test. If we filter too early, we reduce discovery depth and we end up optimizing symptoms. So keep it wide, keep it fast, and keep it cause-focused. Session 5. Slide 68. For brainstorming to work, psychological safety and facilitation rules must be enforced. We will use simple discipline, equal speaking time, round-robin sharing, no criticism during idea generation, stay on topic, build on each other's ideas. The quality of the root cause list depends on participation equality and a non-judgmental environment. If dominant voices take over or evaluation starts early, quieter participants stop contributing, and we lose the system knowledge that actually matters. Remember, the goal is not to be right in the moment. The goal is to capture possibilities so that analysis can later determine what is true. Session 5. Now we structure the brainstormed causes using a fishbone, Ishikawa, diagram. This tool does not prove causality, it organizes thinking. We place causes under structured categories to make gaps visible and prevent random lists. Typical branches follow 6M: man, machine, method, material, measurement, and environment. As we categorize, we also watch for a common mistake: confusing symptoms with causes. Another mistake is overloading one category because it feels familiar. Categorization is not validation. After this slide, every listed cause must be supported by data, observation, or a measurable signal before it becomes a real root cause candidate. Session 5. Slide 70. Let's reinforce the 6M fishbone structure as a disciplined classification method. The 6M model ensures we do not ignore important sources of variation, especially measurement, which is frequently overlooked. We also remember variation theory. Some causes are common cause, systemic, and some are special cause, event-driven. Fishbone helps us form hypotheses, not conclusions. Each cause written on a branch is a testable statement. The next step is to ask, how can we quantify it, observe it, or verify it? If a cause cannot be measured or tested, it stays as an assumption. Strong analysis means turning assumptions into testable hypotheses. Session 5. Slide 71. Now we apply the output into structured documentation, Form 13. This is not paperwork, it is causal reasoning. For each major branch, we identify the most plausible causes and link them to evidence in the project booklet or operational data. We must avoid superficial completion and copying without discussion. The goal is to connect causes to measurable variation. What data would move if this cause is real? What signal would we observe? If we cannot connect a cause to evidence or a data path, it is not ready for prioritization. This step converts a fishbone picture into an analytical hypothesis list we can actually verify. Session 5. Slide 72. Once causes are identified, responsibilities must be clear, otherwise actions fail regardless of analytical quality. We introduce the RACI expertise matrix: responsible executes, accountable owns the result, consulted provides input, informed is updated. Key rule: there must be only one accountable per action. Multiple responsible roles are possible, but accountability must be unique. Many projects stall because everyone is responsible, which means no one owns closure. RACI prevents ambiguity and ensures improvement moves from analysis into execution with governance. Session 5. Slide 73. Now we complete the structured application, Form 5, by mapping root causes and improvement actions to owners using RACI. Every action must have exactly one accountable person and clear, measurable follow-up criteria. We do not complete this mechanically. We discuss: who has authority to remove this cause? Who controls resources? Who can enforce standards? Without clear ownership, corrective actions will not be sustained and control phase becomes symbolic. This exercise turns good ideas into executable commitments with measurement and follow-up built in. Session 5. Slide 74. We now take a 15-minute break to restore cognitive energy. Use this as a true reset: water, short walk, and a quick mental summary of what we achieved. Key causes listed, structured under 6M, documented in Form 13, and ownership logic established with RACI. When we return, we will restart with a 1-minute recap to reactivate analytical momentum and move into deeper measurement and validation thinking. Let's have a break. 15 minutes. Session 6. Slide 75. We now transition into the measure phase preparation. Up to this point, we have defined the problem, structured root causes, and built the project logic. From here forward, opinions are no longer enough. Data must guide decisions. If data is weak, analysis becomes weak. If analysis is weak, improvement becomes a guess. Our goal in this session is to build measurement discipline before we start collecting anything: clear CTQs, clear definitions, reliable sources, and a plan that produces data we can trust. Session 6. Slide 76. Data collection is not an operational habit, it is a strategic resource decision. Collecting data consumes time, people, effort, and budget. So every dataset must justify itself with a decision. If a measurement does not influence a decision, we must question why we are collecting it. More data does not automatically create better analysis. Poorly planned measurement wastes resources and still produces weak conclusions. We collect only what we need, in the simplest reliable way, aligned to seat queues and project decisions. Session 6. Slide 77. Before collecting data, we define what good data means. Useful data must be valid. It measures what it claims, reliable, repeatable across people and time, and sufficient, enough sample size and coverage for analysis. It must also be objective, free from subjective judgment and measurement bias. The key test is always the same. Does this data truly represent the process, or does it represent how we think the process works? Poor quality data creates false conclusions and drives wrong improvement actions, so measurement discipline begins before the first data point is recorded. Session 6. Slide 78. Data collection is a structured decision cycle, not a go measure something activity. We start from purpose and end with a decision. First, we clarify the problem statement and the key questions. Then we identify measurable factors, define operational definitions, and design a sampling plan that fits the process. Finally, we link results back to a decision rule. What will we do if the data confirms or rejects our hypothesis? If the measurement process does not end in decision and action, it becomes analysis without impact. Session 6. Slide 79. Before collecting anything, we must ask the right questions. Who is the customer and what are the CDQs? What must we understand to solve the problem? Variation, relationship, distribution, or magnitude? Every question must translate into a measurable variable. If it cannot be measured, the question is not ready, it must be refined. Poorly framed questions create irrelevant data and weak analysis. Precision in questioning is what creates precision in measurement. Session 6. Slide 80. Next, we learn to read the nature of the data before selecting tools. We look for distribution shape, spread, clustering, and outliers. We separate variation from relationship. A pattern does not automatically mean causation. For example, arrival times may show wide dispersion, instability, fuel consumption may show clustering by route type, and delays may correlate with shift, but correlation still does not prove cause. Data structure comes before analysis methods. If we misunderstand what the data is saying, any tool we use will amplify the wrong story. Session 6. Slide 81. We now classify data correctly because tool choice depends on data type. Continuous data is measured on a numeric scale, time, cost, distance, liters. Discrete data is counted, defects, complaints, late/on time. Measurement scale matters too, nominal, ordinal, interval ratio. If we treat categorical data like continuous data, we get invalid conclusions. Correct classification is the gateway to selecting the right SPC chart, capability method, or hypothesis test. First classify, then analyze. Session 6. Slide 82. Measurement planning converts intent into usable data. We must define where data will be collected, who collects it, how often, using which method, and how it will be recorded. The analysis method determines the required data structure. If we plan an XR chart, we need rational subgroups. If we plan a P chart, we need defect counts and sample size. If we plan capability, we need spec limits and stable measurement. Unplanned collection creates unusable data. Measure phase failures often start with weak planning, not weak statistics. Session 6. Slide 83. We rarely measure the full population, so we use samples to estimate reality. But samples do not perfectly represent the population. Sampling design and bias determine whether we can trust inference. Sample size and variability matter. Convenience sampling creates false confidence. We must ask, does our sample represent all shifts, routes, conditions, and operating states? If the sample is biased, the analysis will be statistically clean, but operationally wrong. Representativeness is the foundation of trustworthy conclusions. Session 6. Slide 84. A structured planning form forces traceability and discipline. For each suspected root cause, we define measurable data, data type, continuous/discrete, source, frequency, unit, and the owner responsible. Frequency must match process dynamics, and documentation must allow us to trace every data point back to where, when, and how it was captured. If we cannot measure systematically, we cannot analyze reliably. Documentation is not bureaucracy, it is measurement credibility. Session 6. Slide 85. Measurement execution requires consistency and bias control. We define operational definitions, e.g., delay equals more than 5 minutes past schedule, standardize recording methods, train data collectors, and document context variables, shift, route, weather, load. If measurement changes person to person or day to day, reliability collapses. Strong statistics cannot rescue weak measurement. The measure phase fails more from poor discipline than from poor calculation. Session 6. Slide 86. Now we apply this discipline in team practice, Form 16. We link each root cause to the exact data needed, clarify whether it is continuous or discrete, define unit and frequency, assign a data owner, and confirm traceability. The check is simple. Every data item must answer a defined analytical question and support a decision. If we fill the form mechanically without linking data to causes and decisions, we create analysis problems later. This exercise simulates real measure phase thinking. Do it like a project team, not like paperwork. Session 6. Slide 87. Before closing day 1, we consolidate, define created clarity, measure preparation, created discipline. We revisit any confusion about data types, sampling, operational definitions, and how root causes connect to measurable variables. The goal is to leave today with alignment. Tomorrow, data replaces assumptions. If questions remain hidden, weak measurement will appear later as mysterious analysis problems. So we surface them now while the foundation is being built. Session 6. Slide 88. We close day 1 with commitment. Today, you built project clarity, customer alignment, root cause structure, and measurement awareness. Tomorrow, we move into deeper analytical work, where decisions must be justified by data and measurement credibility. Take 1 minute and think, what will you observe differently when you return to work? What will you measure differently? Sustainable improvement begins when you stop guessing and start defining, measuring, and validating. Thank you for your focus and professionalism. See you on day 2.